Good evening, all. Can you all hear me, please? Let me get some feedback. Can anyone hear me?
I can hear
Yes,
you.
sir. I can hear you from here.
Okay, good.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
I
good.
hear you.
Okay, all right. Thank you all. Good evening, all, and welcome to the Aspire for Excellence Foundation webinar series. Okay, for the month of August. Okay, it will be holding today, and it has just started. The title of today's webinar talk is Harnessing Social Capital. Harnessing Social Capital, the Power of Relationships. Okay. And today, our distinguished speaker for the night is Tony Iswell. Tony Iswell, okay, is our speaker for tonight. Mr. Tony Iswell, he is someone we know. He has a very strong passion for small groups, and he also has a very strong passion for young people or youth. Uh, is really also is he hosts the popular radio program called Hope Theater. Hope Theater is a program that holds every week, and he's usually the anchor for that program. And the Hope Theater is a program that tries to inspire hope in people, okay, amidst the difficult times that we find ourselves in. Professionally, Mr. Tony Iswell, he's a banker, okay, and he works in one of the banks in Nigeria. He works as a relationship manager, okay, and that's where he practices his profession. Okay. He also teaches financial intelligence from time to time. Okay, so he's well versed in financial issues also. However, tonight he'll be talking about intangible capital. Let me put it that way, something called social capital. Okay, just the ground rules before we start. Please, okay, when you join, please mute your mics. And also, please mute your mic so as to reduce echo and frequency interference, and do well to put off your video also, okay? This will help, as the video allowed will be for the speaker for tonight. Just before we start, next month, September, and I will announce this at the end, okay? We will be having another speaker speak to us another topic titled Leadership, the Pedestal to Greatness. Leadership, the Pedestal to Greatness. This will be for the next month, okay? And we'll have one of our speakers also, a great man also. He has published a book on leadership, and he will speak about this, okay? So I guess we are here. I think the table is set. So, Mr. Tony Iswell, you have the floor. But I will apologize in advance. We're not going to put this on slideshow. We'll endeavor to go step by step like this, because in slideshow we have some little technical challenges. Let's hope we'll be able to solve this. So, Mr. Tony Iswell, you are welcome. You have an hour, and after that, there will be questions. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat box. There is a chat box just by your side below. So if you have any questions, please put them there. But just before Mr. Tony starts, I want to plead with everyone. If you can give Mr. Tony, at least you have a digital clap or a welcome or something like that, just for us to launch him in. Okay? Just to say thank you, Mr. Tony. So, Mr. Tony, you are welcome. You have the floor. Thank you. I mute my mic now.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Mike. I'm very grateful. I want to appreciate you and the team for the wonderful work you are doing. I mean, this is amazing. It's actually amazing. And I'm so privileged to be part of this great work that is happening in our time. I see this going and becoming greater and bigger. It is already showing. So thank you very much. Well, I want to welcome everyone to this webinar. I believe that it's going to be worth your time. All right, so we're looking at harnessing your social capital, the power of relationships. And we want to quickly run through this. My belief is that after now, we'll be more deliberate in our relationships. We'll see relationship indeed as assets or capital, something that we can mine for our profit, for success in any place we find ourselves, whatever sector we find ourselves. Relationship can be mined into success or great things or profit, whatever you want to call your own success. All right, so we'll move on to the course objectives to establish the indispensable connection between man and society, but mainly I will be focusing more on the importance of social capital and how to mine it. But then we'll also take some time to look at the meaning. But it's important for us to set a foundation to see how man relates with the society, how important it is, how the society is so important to man and how man finds himself in the society. So we'll skip past about this course and go to module 1 to save our time, man and the society. So this is like an icebreaker. It's a quote by Aristotle. If we go to what Aristotle said, he said, man is by nature a social animal. An individual who is unsocial, naturally and not accidentally, is either beneath notice or more than human.
It's no work now.
Please, can we just turn off our mouth? All right. So
All right. Sorry about that. John, God's will, and you are co-hosts. Whoever comes in without the mic muted, you can just mute them quickly. Okay. Sorry about
Thank you.
that. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. So society is something that precedes the individual. Anyone who either cannot lead the common life or is so self-sufficient as not to need to, therefore does not partake of society, is either a beast or a god. Now, this is a quote by Aristotle. And of course, we know Aristotle, the very famous philosopher, the Greek philosopher. Now, I want us to ponder what he has said just a little while before we go on. And please, feel free to use your emoticons. I would like to know that I'm speaking to real persons, what we call natural persons in law and in business, so that we are sure that we are together. From time to time, I would want you to give me either a thumbs up or something to show that you are understanding or you're following what we are doing, what I'm saying. So basically, in summary, what Aristotle is just saying is that man cannot live without, the society, cannot live without companionship, let's put it that way, or without a community of humans. That man must relate with like beings, and anyone that cannot do that is either beneath man or is a god. So it's either divine or is inhuman, or beneath human. That's or subhuman, if you like to put it that way. So Aristotle was just trying to tell us how important it is for man to, have relationship. The fact that man cannot exist without relationships. And then we want to now, we want to look at the word social itself. What is social? Most of us have heard it, and we use it for people that are outgoing, that attend a lot of parties, and they say this man is very social. In fact, there's a word called socialist. People that or socialite, sorry. So a socialite, somebody that attends parties, throws a lot of parties, they say this person is a socialite. But what is social? Social means living together or enjoying life in communities or organized groups. In fact, the word actually comes from the Latin socius, which means friend. So it's finding, friendship. Friendship talks about people with common connections, common value system that can relate together, that can share together. So you find friendship comes or evolves from that. And it is from this concept that the word society emerged from, because of course that is how it started. So you can see, for instance, those of us that are familiar with scriptures, the Bible, the Christian Bible, know that the first man was on his own and he related, as it were, with the animals, but he could not find companionship with them. All right? And God said it is not good for man to be alone. So you find that man always seeks for relationship. Man seeks for relationship. And not just relating with just anything, but relating with like beings, relating with the same species like him. So that's why Adam could not function with the animals. And the way man cements this relationship, as it were, how relationship is strengthened by communication. By communication. So the more man learns to communicate, the more is able to function better. And in sociology, there's something that we call social order, where things begin to work in harmony. There's something we call social contract, unwritten laws that just happens as a result of this click in relationship, where two people, without writing anything, they just understand themselves. For instance, a husband and a wife, they don't need to write anything on paper, but you find that they flow. This one just knows that I should not do this one I should not do this. So it's like a social contract, like a contract has been signed between them. But it takes communication to get that to function. And that's why communication is so key in relationship. You can see example in Nigeria, for instance, you see the major ethnic groups. What distinguishes them from others is the fact that they speak one language. I don't know if you agree. If you look at it, you find that, for instance, the North, they speak one language. If you come to the East, they speak one language. Go to the West. And that has made them really the dominant groups in Nigeria. You have the minorities. They are not minorities because, they do not possess what it takes to stand out. But you will find that they have many languages, and that has not helped for cohesion. So that is how powerful communication is. And I'm sure that's why the white man, when he came, wanted to have that cohesion so that they could succeed with colonialism, and they gave us a language. I've always posited that I believe to unite Nigeria, one of the things is that we should need to get our communication right. And that would mean getting something that we all understand. This Queen's English may not work for us. We need to find what kind of language can we speak. For me, I believe that what the Portuguese taught us, the Pidgin English, seems to be what everybody can speak. I have, in one or two forums, tried to make a case for it. Can we, just like the Jamaicans, can we develop our own style that will unite us, as a nation? So communication is so key in having a community or a society function. Now, this society, as it were, is asset to the individual. And it is from there that we actually draw what we call our social capital. Our social capital. And therefore, what is social capital? Now, if you see the picture there, you see a lot of people holding hands together in connection. They are connected. So it suggests that these ones work together, each one having the back of the other. And this can be mined into something great. So what is social capital? Now, Shona Waters defines social capital as the capital or resources we gain from existing within a social network. What are the resources that we gain from existing within a social network? It's a concept from social sciences that is centered on our ability to leverage social connections in order to solve problems, improve well-being, pursue shared objectives, and take collective action. You know, I've had this discussion with people. I've talked about social capital. You know, some people call it networking and so on and so forth. But when people talk about it, they think about it in terms of just making money. Because of that, a lot of people have lost some intangible benefits of social capital. So, and those are more important than money. So a lot of time we exploit just for money. Oh well, I believe that just like you have the pyramid schemes right now, people say just form a network, bring one person, the other one brings one person. You are trying to form a network, and motivated by money gain. At the end of the day, the individual is not improved, you know, and that has made a lot of people not really get what they should get from social capital, not enjoy the real benefits of social capital. Now, I've been using relationships for long now in terms of my work. Like I said, I'm a relationship manager and a member of the middle management of my bank, and I rose to that point by relationship. I got to discover that my greatest asset in my job is relationship. I remember when I first got recruited, that was about 16, 17 years ago. My mentor told me that don't joke with your phone. Don't joke with your phone. I never understood it. He said, this your phone is your office. It was as I began to evolve in the job, grow in the job, that I began to understand what he meant. My phone contacts are important to me because from there, I will get everything I need. That is the truth. Now, if you look at the second definition I put there, you will see social capital as a term that refers to positive product of human interaction. Positive product of human interaction. The positive outcome may be tangible or intangible and may include favors, useful information, innovative ideas, future opportunities. And your social capital is not you, it is the people you have around you. And that's why it is said there that it appears the potential between social network connections amongst individuals. So the more you can connect with people, the more people you are in connection with, the greater, as it were, your social capital. All right. Now I want us to, if you are there, I don't know, can you just give me a sign that you can hear me? Can you just an emoticon, something that shows beautiful, beautiful? Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. That's good. So I'm very happy that someone is following. So, as a marketer, I like to see myself as a marketer. No matter how many team members I have, I tell everybody, see yourself from that place. I tell my people, you know, when you go out, see everyone as a long-term relationship. Don't see them as people you just need to get to the next level. Just see them as people that you want to add to your network. And the only way you can do that is to sell yourself. Sell yourself. As you sell yourself, you build relationship, and that helps you. All right? And you can see, I don't know if we understand the concept of social capital before I go to the types. Do we understand it? Do we understand it? Can I get something that shows that somebody is understanding it? Can somebody just give me a sign? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Prince. Thank you. All right, so now, what are the types of social capital that we have? What are the types? Now, we have three types. Social capital, we have bonding social capital. We have bonding social capital. We have bridging social capital. And we have linking social capital. Now, bonding social capital is fundamental. If you don't get it right here, it will be difficult. You know, like scripture says that charity begins at home. All right? If you cannot, build this particular social capital, it will be difficult for you. If you can't master it at this stage, then there will be issue if you can't master it at this stage. All right? When I get new recruits, when they join me, and we tell them these are the deliverables we expect from you, and so on and so forth. Many of them get afraid. How do I do it? How do I accomplish this? And the first question I ask them is, do you have a family? If you have a family, that is where you begin from. Do you have friends? You begin from there. Do you belong to a religious organization, whether a church or a mosque? You begin from there. Unfortunately, a lot of people, they are not very active in some of the social groups that they belong to. So, it is not difficult for them to actually mine anything from there. So those things do not become capital for them. They are just part of groups, and they are what we call ghost members. Ghost members. But I want to charge you, get active. Get active. Make it a hobby, if you like, to begin to know people. Even though I understand that there are personality differences, but you can start from your family. Build it from here. So we said this involves strengthening the relationship within a homogeneous group. That is, group with shared values and history. So, for instance, your family, your colleagues. What is the relationship between you and your colleagues? Church groups, and so on, etc. And so on. What relationship do you have? These are people you know personally. What have you been able to mine from them? When we get to how to build your social capital, you will see some easy things to do. A lot of people have been going the wrong way. You'll see some easy things to do that will help you get value from your networks. All right? And then the next one is bridging capital. As it connotes, it is bridging between two groups. That is building a bridge between two groups. So it talks about interacting with people from various groups, that is heterogeneous groups. So you have your group interacting with another group, on that group, sorry, and so usually you can find a friend linking you with their own network. And this is so powerful. Nothing helps you build network like having people introduce you. I've had the opportunity of making a lot of cold calls in my career, but I can tell you that nothing sells you like when somebody has introduced you. Nothing sells you like when somebody introduces you to their network. I remember there was one of my friends took me to a particular woman that came from the US and introduced me to her, and it was easy. The woman was skeptical at first that no, 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 no. But because I came from that person who was her lawyer actually, and she had respect for him, she accepted me. And if I tell you what that relationship has done for me, it's amazing. It's amazing. There's another one, that guy also in the United States, someone introduced me to him, and we began to build that relationship. And that relationship gave me promotion in my place of work. That relationship, but that was bridging. That was bridging. Of course, if I had remained in where I was and I never got this connection to this other group, I would never have been able to break into that level. I have used this a lot in my career. Some 6 years ago, I was transferred to a place, a semi-urban area, and I had what we call customer account balance. That's what we call it. We call it cabal. I had about roughly about just about 2 billion, and I was managing that. Now, by the time I began to leverage on relationships, leverage on those people that connected me. I mean, I had people that took me to, in fact, somebody took me to the royal father in that place, and we became very close. Up till today, we maintain very cordial relationship even after I've left there. So I got all of those connections. By the time I was leaving that branch, I had grown that thing to about 8 billion. In fact, what I managed, they had to get 2 people to come manage it after I had left. That's to show you the power of relationships. That's what this linking social capital did for me. I was able to exploit just having to do that. And a lot of times people are not deliberate. I want you to, if you offer a service, if you are in the service industry or something, and you have offered a service to someone, and you know that person is satisfied, don't leave it at that. Tell the person, can you refer me? Ask the person to refer you. Some people may not think that they need to. They just enjoy you for themselves. Ask, and you'll be surprised how that will open you up to many more frontiers. All right, so that's bridging social capital. And then we have linking social capital. Linking social capital talks about, relationship between people from different hierarchical levels. So, for instance, examples at the MD and maybe his junior staff. We used to have a DMD in my bank. That guy was fantastic. He has remained, a mentor till tomorrow. I've never seen a man that can manage relationships like that man. That man had relationships as a DMD. He had relationship up to drivers and security men in branches. Amazing. I don't know how he does it, but the man's ability to link up is just amazing. I had the opportunity one day to go on a call with him to see a customer, and it was a learning process. I've never recovered from the knowledge I got just by watching him operate. This can open you up to frontiers you never thought you could get to. Just being linked to someone at that level. I tell people, at this level where we are now, it's not just only performance that takes you there. It's also perception. So when you are rising in your organization, you need to look at it. How do people perceive me? You need linkage. Build linkages amongst hierarchies. Build linkage. It's so important. This helps you. So that is one, that's one form of social capital. All right. So what are some of the benefits? Our time is running like crazy. So let me see if I can do benefits in about 10 minutes and see how we can conclude on or before 8:30. Okay, so what are some of the benefits? So let's go to benefits now. The next slide. One of the benefits is goodwill. Goodwill. I don't think that it is something that anybody, in fact, the reason why companies set up a full arm, they call it public relations, a public relations arm, is just to build goodwill. Just to build goodwill. You know what goodwill does? What goodwill does is to build, understanding. Is to build understanding. In public relations, they talk about the public relations process, for instance, and they say it is turning hostility into sympathy. That's what goodwill does for you. People that should be hostile to you, they begin to sympathize. All right? Is to change apathy to interest. People that did not care before suddenly become interested. So when you build your social capital, one of the things you get is goodwill from your network. When you do it well, you get goodwill from your network. I'll give you a story, what this has done for me. During the Naira redesign period, it was terrible for us as bankers. We went through hell. And one of such days, a customer collapsed and we rushed him to the hospital. The guy was an elderly man looking for money. There was no money anywhere. We were struggling to see how we could help, and in the process, he collapsed. We rushed him to the hospital. Unfortunately, he passed on. It was a crazy time. Already, we heard that people were coming to our branch. They were going to deal with us. They were going to do all manner of things. And you remember that during that time, some bank branches were burnt. I don't know if some of us, we heard about that or we watched it on news. Some of us may have seen that. Some bank branches were burnt. Some were looted and so on and so forth. Okay. Because I was very close to the royal father in that place, the traditional ruler, I went to meet him and I told him this and this and this are the issues. This is what happened. I informed him. He had already heard even before I came. And I gave him the details. We were able to get the details of the customer. Immediately, he sent his people out, got the families, and dealt with the situation. And fixed a time for us to have an interaction with the family. I got more senior staff to join me to go see him. And by the time we finished, every tension in that community was diffused. Diffused, just like that. Now, that is something that would have cost us our branch. But just by goodwill, we overcame it. That is something that is intangible, but I can tell you that it is more than money. It is more than money. If you don't have goodwill, you don't have anything. Also, you have wealth creation. This is where a lot of people major just only this. That I just want to create wealth from my. Most of the time, it becomes exploitative. It is not right. All right? And you know that very soon, as you keep exploiting people, one day they will know, and you may end up losing them forever. That is not right. All right? So, but it helps you to actually create wealth. Each one of these people, just helps you. I manage a business with my wife. Outside what I do, my wife is a cake designer, and we run a poultry, small poultry. But, because of course, goodwill we have built with people, we know people, and so on and so forth, it has helped to create wealth for us. Because we find people coming to us and saying, we want to buy from you. In fact, one of my friends was a member of a cooperative. They were buying from somewhere else. She dragged them to us and said, this is where we'll be buying from today. And we have had good business from that cooperative since that time. So you can create wealth with social capital. So you have also a strong support base. I've enjoyed this also. This you will understand when you get into trouble. That's when you know if you have a support base or not. When my father died, I didn't know where to start from. there were so many things to do. I was so shocked when I saw people coming out, coming out, coming out, coming out. I ended up burying my dad without stress. Support, support. Many people cannot find that kind of support. If you don't find it, you need to ask yourself, am I really, handling relationships well? Have I been able to become deliberate in trying to build relationships? And then you also have the benefit of trust. You build trust. If people do not trust you, you have nothing. All right? I have had people, in fact, there was a man that, came, opened an account with me. That was years ago. I was in another bank then. And I managed his funds for years till he retired. And by the time he retired, every money he gave me free hand in his account. I managed a lot of things, did investments for him, and so on and so forth. At the end of the day, every account was rendered. The man looked at it. He had his own account. Now, he didn't tell me he was keeping the account, though. He didn't tell me. Now, it was after everything, when he retired, he looked at his book, he looked at my book, and he said, not 1 naira is missing. We maintain such good relationship to today. The man does not joke with me. All right? Many people lose trust because of things they do. Social capital, real one, helps you to build trust. And then you have longevity. You see, there's this book I read, Outliers. I don't know if anybody has read it, Outliers. The man talked about, what do you call it? An Italian community. They live somewhere in the United States. Now, he discovered that the average age in that place was above 100 years. And then in a house, you can see like 3 generations of people staying. So you have the grandfather, you have the father, you have the son. They are there. And he was wondering that maybe it's something about their diet. He went there, Italians had the deep fries, various things. In fact, he said many of them were obese and so on and so forth. And the scientists kept probing. He was a professor. And finally, they discovered that it was the closely knit relationship of that community that was actually the reason why they were living long. And that guy came up with that postulation that if you truly have, supportive relationships, loving relationships around you, greater tendency of you living long or longer than those that have toxicity around them. All right? So this is very key. You don't even though they were obese and everything, they didn't have sicknesses. They didn't have so much of the issues that people complain about today. And that's why you see some people, when they retire, they tell you they are going back to the village. They just want that life that helps them relax. Not all this running around and the rest and unnecessary competition and so on and so forth. So you can enjoy longevity with that. Happiness also, you are happy. You have people around you, you have people that love you, and so on and so forth. You find out that you are happy. You have people that appreciate you. It was William James that said that the deepest principle in human nature is the craving to be appreciated. You have people that appreciate you, brings happiness to you. And then you can synergize. The power of synergy is that, what will take you 1 year to achieve, you can achieve it in 1 day because you have many people doing it for you. It is this kind of power that the social media presents. So you find businesses that you can be here today and then you are selling to so many people at the same time. It's a synergy of people, all right, of connections everywhere that you leverage on, all right? And if you bring it to, what do you call it now? Just our day-to-day interaction, face-to-face interaction. You just, let me give an example where you have referrals, you have people that try to that can market for you. For instance, if you have a product, you have people. Let me give you an example with okay, let me use Dangote, for instance. Let me use Dangote. How Dangote uses the power of synergy. You know, synergy talks about different people bringing in, they're working together with their all their what do you call it, their gifts and everything to, you know, bring success. If you define it from an organization point of view, to bring success to that organization. So, for instance, Dangote has key distributors. He has major ones, and he has sub distributors under them. There's a story. We happened to bank one of his key distributors, and Dangote came to visit him. That's how close he is to his KDs. He's very close to them. He came to visit one of them, and when he got there, he saw that they didn't have light there. They said the generator had gotten bad and so on and so forth. It was the girls that were telling him. And Dangote immediately just called the generator company and said, bring one here. You know? And that same, I think the next day, a brand new generator came at no cost to the customer, at no cost to that man, just to make sure that that man continued. You know why he's doing that? Under that man, the amount of people, that man gets payments from southeast, and some other places. The man's turnover in a week runs into billions. Where is that coming from? So Dangote knows that if I have synergy with these people and they will bring what they are controlling to me, that is the full network, synergy of networks of all of these people. And that's why you see Dangote so wealthy. We'll also look at him as a proof later in this course. You know, so you find synergy from social relationships or from social capital. Then you have wellness. You are healthier when you have supportive relationships around you. Of course, a secured future. Now, very quickly, let us look at the next model, how to build your social capital. This is so important. This will help you. Can we go to the next slide? How do you build it? I will tell you that the number one, and I refer to it as the most important, is integrity. Integrity. You know what? Integrity is what is from the root word integer. Integer talks about one word, one character. That means integrity suggests that the individual is one, both in word and in deed. What are you saying to that person? Is it corresponding with your action? I will see there. Please, thank you. All right. Now, if you lose your integrity, you have lost everything. You have lost everything. Hello, I think we have another speaker here.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. He's been muted. Go ahead.
Okay. If you lose your integrity, you have lost everything. The only way you can build trust is through integrity. In fact, if you check most organizations, it is one of their core values, integrity. They can't joke with it. In banking, they will tell you once there's an integrity issue, they can't keep you. Because banking is a business of trust. If people cannot trust your bank, that is the end of it. You are gone. All right? So nobody jokes with integrity. So if you want to properly mine social capital, please let your word that. I hope you can still hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you now. We lost you briefly, but just before you continue, George Chinedu, please, if you can probably put off your video we'll appreciate if you can put off your video, please. But we lost you. You may need to.
Okay,
recap
so
a bit.
let me try to go a little bit faster. Number two. Wow. Hello, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Somebody is just cutting me off with a call. Okay, so value creation, add value to every relationship that you find yourself. What are you giving to that person? What are you giving? When I sit with customers, I'm deliberate. I'm trying to find out if I can talk with them. All right. When I sit one-on-one, I want to discuss business. Is there something I can, is there something else I can add? Is there a suggestion I can give? Can I look at a better way of doing this thing? Can I look at some way that will reduce their cost or something? You know, if you add, forget you, they will stay with you. All right. Most people go and they just want to collect, give me, give me. In fact, it is really bad that people go and say, just give me money. You know, the Chinese will say, don't give me fish, teach me how to fish. Okay? If you go, add value, how can you improve that person's life? Don't think that because it's Dangote, you can't do anything. There's something you can do. There's always something you can give. That is something I've come to know. I've sat with people. In fact, there was a businessman I sat with, and then I took his business and we began to analyze it. Looked at what he was doing, took his bank statement, looked at goods he has given on credit, and so on and so forth. By the time we analyzed it, I told him that, Oga, you are not doing too well in business. Can you do this, cut this off, improve on this, and so on and so forth? And he went to do it. And then he saw the difference. Now, he didn't pay me for that. He didn't need to pay me. But what I've gotten from that customer is greater than anything if he had to pay me there. I've gotten so much from him. Just adding value. All right? Also, be quick to appreciate. A lot of people do not know how to appreciate. Be thankful. Appreciate people. Appreciate them for what they do. Appreciate your colleagues. Even if you are a boss, appreciate those below you. I thank my staff. I thank them. Many times I tell them, see, I appreciate you. My DMD I talked about, he has left us now, but sometimes he just writes us a mail that I appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. It just pulls us up. We want to work better. We want to give more. In fact, I told somebody that it's because of this man I'm giving to the bank. You know? So, you see, appreciate. Like I said before, William James said the deepest principle in human nature is that craving to be appreciated. Everybody wants to be appreciated. In marriage, it works. Every relationship, it works. Embrace personality differences. And this is something that people do not understand in managing relationships. So to get value from them, people are different. That you relate with this person this way does not mean that's how you relate with this other person. All right? There are some people I go to, you know, I have a customer, I don't spend more than 5 minutes with him, but I get all his business. Oh, come, we talk business. Okay, let's do it like this, let's do it like this. Anytime I spend longer than that, we're maybe trying to sort out some. All his business has come to me. There was a time he needed rates. I couldn't match the rates another bank was giving to him. But he looked at it and said, Tony, I can't leave you. I can't leave you. He gave me that business. He refused to move it. So appreciate differences. Improve your communication skills. A lot of people do not know this is important. Learn to communicate. Learn to communicate. And when you speak to people, listen to them. Actively listen. Try to ask questions when you speak with the people. This is so key for business, especially people that are in marketing. A lot of times we just barge in and just pour out our products like this, like this, like this. Ask them. Try to understand their business so that you will know exactly what is suitable for them. Sometimes you give them what is not going to help them. I've sat down with customers, and as I was talking to them, I finally discovered that what they were asking for is not what they need. Another bank has already told them, we'll give it to you. They just came to me. As we were talking, I said, no, no, no. This will kill your business. This is what your business needs. By the time I explained to them, he said, wow, I didn't know. And then I got the business. All right? Improve your communication skill. Some people do not know how to communicate things. Be empathetic. Put yourself in the other person's shoes. Put yourself. In that way, you'll be able, this is where emotional intelligence comes from. I do this a lot with my staff. I try to rationalize. Before I come down hard on the staff, I think about it. What may have necessitated it? What may have made this person behave this way? Try to put myself in their shoes. If I was here, would it have affected me? Would I have behaved the same way? Once I'm able to rationalize, then I'm able to know what to do to that staff. It's the same thing I do with my boss. If my boss starts saying, man, you have not met this deliverable, we need to up our game, and so on and so forth, I try to look at it. He may be under pressure. He just came from a meeting. So on and so forth. I need to help him. So, when you rationalize, you don't have, you build relationship. All the bosses I've worked with, I can tell you this, I am still very close to them. Both the ones that have left, the ones that are still there, we have close relationship. In fact, when I built my house, one of them he came to pray in my house. That's to show you how much relationship we have, So, empathize. Have love for humanity. You see, if you don't love humanity, your relationship will be hindered. I love humanity. I think humanity. There are visions I have that I just want to. I stay on radio every week, not because it is cheap for me, but I just want to help. I want to help. I just want to help. This foundation now that is hosting the program, I'm sure they are thinking, how do we help? They are not being paid for it. But somebody is putting something somewhere, trying to see how they can better the lives of others, improve people's lives. That is a love for humanity. You can't miss it with this. And a lot of people do not know how to segment or profile their contacts. Always learn to put them in brackets. It's easier to micromanage people when you can segment them, you can profile them. It's easier to now manage them because you can just manage them in groups. Usually you find people with the same ideologies, the same mentality, and so on and so forth. You discover that it works. There's a way you deal with those people. It just works all the time. Yes, the other set of people, even banks, organizations, they do the same thing. They say these are HNIs, high net worth individuals. These are SMEs. So there's how they classify them. And then with that, they can evolve products. And so if you're a businessman, this is important for you. Try to segment customers. And then it helps you to know how to approach them differently and build a network in those places. It's so important. And then be intentional. Be deliberate about it. It is not something that happens by chance. I have taken time to build relationships. I attend people's functions. I've taken time to go attend people's functions. I have friends that we have been friends since childhood. We are still friends now. We still speak to ourselves and so on and so forth. You need to be intentional to build relationship. I do that. If I've not heard from somebody for some time, I don't let it slide. I reach out to them. And sometimes you just discover that, wow, you're just passing through something. And there's a concept I've discovered. Anybody you are, you show up for them in their hour of need. They never forget you. Yes, we know some people may do, but most often than not, they can never forget you. All right? So be intentional about your relationship. Social capital does not build itself. Networks do not build themselves. You must intentionally build it. Reach out to people. All right? Intentionally. Check your phone. When last did I speak to this person? Even in your family, when last did I speak with my brother? When last did I speak with my mother or my father, if they are still alive? When last did I reach this person, and so on and so forth? Be intentional about it. It's not only, when I started banking, the bank I worked in first, they didn't believe in maintaining contact with people that do not have a lot of money to give you. So if the person maybe is no longer making money, they tell you leave him. We're talking about the Pareto principle. And so focus on 20. Leave those people. And I grew with that mentality. So I lost a lot of contact. But it came back to bite me at a point, because some of those people bounced back. And I had to go back to them to see, and in fact, some of them threw me out. I remember a particular guy that, things were not going well with him, and we had left him. After some time, this guy became a member of the House of Rep. And then we had products for them. And I look at me and I called him up. I said, honorable, congratulations, and so on and so forth. And he said, Tony, Kai, you guys are terrible. I felt very bad. The guy is not wrong. I had to start again to see if I could build that relationship. From that time, I learned a lesson. That was years ago. I don't look down on anybody. Yes, I focus, I use the Pareto principle, but no matter what, I try to always keep the door open. I'm very intentional about relationships. Now, this is so important. All right. We are nearly out of time. All right. So, look at Dangote. I don't know if I've just been running through this. I don't know if we are understanding. Is somebody gaining anything from this? Can I just see a show of hand or something? Let me be sure that, although we'll take questions and then maybe we can, thank you. Maybe we can now also deal with some of the gray areas I did not touch. All right. Now, look at the man called Dangote. When I read the story of Dangote, I saw everything, the types of social capital play out in him. He he was there, developed his social capital, the primary social capital, he developed it. He was not, running away from his family and so on and so forth. He started, his uncle helped him, gave him money that time to help his business. That is relationship. No uncle would have given him if he didn't have a relationship with the uncle. From there, he began to build. All right? And then he evolved the KD model, key distributorship model, to grow his business. And then he was smart. He sells mass market goods. Very smart guy. And he knows that it will be difficult because mass market is so difficult to manage. And that's why he went through key distributors and sub-distributors just like that. At every level, you can operate with Dangote. At every level, you can operate with Dangote. That's the truth. And that's why he has become so rich today. Dangote does not joke with government. You see him always linking up. You see him taking care of KDs, and by extension, all those in their downlines. It's so important. All right. And then there's this man, Kule Sodame. I don't know if I'm pronouncing. Maybe the Yorubas there will be able to pronounce it better. All right. But look at this man. He was once a local government chairman. Those of us that have also worked with politicians, we know what it takes to become a local. You need to be in tune with the grassroots. You have to be a grassroots politician to go and become a local government chairman. So this guy has mastered the art of social capital. And I'm sure looking at these people, interacting with them, has given him that idea. Of course, he loves sports, and then he went into the betting game. The Bet Niger started it and used agents. Now he has a website. You can go to the website and then you can go off like, you know what this guy did? He knew a lot of people may not have the internet, and you have agents. These agents, they set up, and then they have the internet. You come play there. They register you, they do everything for you, and they can pay out to you, and so on and so forth. I've been able to bank some of these agents, and I've been able to see this model. It is an amazing model. Do you know, like what I wrote here? I don't know if it's here. Yes, it's here. Bet Niger generates roughly $1 million monthly from Lagos alone, just by being able to mine properly, build a network and mine it properly. 1 million. You know what this man said? He said what they sell is hope. That's what the way he packages. He said we sell hope. That's what they sell. That they know Nigeria is filled with a lot of issues, and so this company is giving hope to people. You know, that's how he has packaged it. And look at him today. Today he has an airline. Today he owns a Spanish football club. I mean, this guy has idle funds that he's channeling into so much. That is money coming, what we call critical mass. Critical mass. You know? So, what do we do now? Can we take some action points? Action points, very quickly as we wrap it up. I want you to think about this. Do an evaluation. Evaluate your relationship with your social space. How closely knit? Have you been able to, you know, somebody is saying, I want to go national. What have you done with your local? What have you done with your local? You need to make that evaluation and see how far you've gone. Look at your phone contacts. Start from there. I always tell my staff, anytime like I said, I have a new recruit, I will say, check your contacts. Start from the known to the unknown. You know, you will be surprised that you have not even been able to mine half of your phone contacts. There are many people there that in the last 5 years you have not spoken with. You don't have any, you can't even remember. All right? And you may be surprised that that person has an answer to that question you have. That person may just have what you are looking for. All right? So go through yourself. It's a good starting point for you. Where do you see yourself in the next 10, 20? Can you just have a vision? Can you project? All right? Where do you see yourself? And then think about it. What kind of people can get you there? And be intentional. Begin to get to know them. Begin to get to know them. I saw myself, in fact, when I started serving, during youth service, there was a program I did. I projected and I wrote it down. Where I will be in 10 years, in 20 years. I wrote it down when I will get married, when I will have kids, and so on and so forth. And then I began to prepare. You know, it is said that how far you go is dependent on two things: the books you read and the company you keep. I began to deal with that. Began to read books that will help me get to that place I'm looking at. Began to be deliberate. I started building relationships right from youth service. The people I met in youth service, we still talk to today. That is how much some of us keep these relationships. All right? Segment your social space. Itemize the kind of value you can add to them. Think about it. What kind of value? Think value before you start. Just think value. Today, just start thinking about it. What value can I add to people around me? And just start doing it. It might be small. We're not talking about going to give them money. Oh, I just came to add value to you. Take this. No, that's what we're saying. Sometimes you just look at this person and you're looking at his business. Think about it. If there's something you can do. I told somebody once, don't look for a job. It just came out and I said, see, you are just finished. You are not even served. Just go to an organization and tell them you want to work for free. Just go and add value. That you will be surprised what it will do for you. Just go and add value. All right? Segment your social space. Itemize the kind of, okay, yes. Who is your longest standing friend? How long? Many people do not have long-standing friends. They are just in and out. And it's so difficult. You can't create networks that way. You can't. That's why we are asking this question. It's just to check if you actually can keep relationship. If you can keep relationship, how well can you keep relationship in the long term? All right. And then, have you made any new connections since January? Have you made any new connections? Have you met new people? For me, I've met a number of them, not just because of my work, even in church and different. I'm just deliberate. Talk with them, we laugh, and then we start talking. I remember just talking with one of them, and we didn't even talk about banking. We were talking about her health. And she was telling me some things, and I was just trying to give her some tips, how to deal with some of the stressors that she was facing and so on and so forth. And she was so happy. So how many new connections are you? And how do people easily, you see this one, do people easily recommend you to others? If they don't recommend you, you need to check it. It means they don't trust you, or they don't like your work, or if you are a workman or you are giving service, or maybe they've not thought about it. So if you think people do not recommend you, think about it. Ask yourself, how good is my work? If you check the boxes, then talk to them that, do you like the service I'm rendering to you? And so on and so forth. Do you like my product if you are selling something? And so on and so forth. And then, if they are okay with you, tell me sincerely, I want good, sincere feedback. Can you recommend me? Ask for referrals. I do that a lot. Ask for referrals. All right? I'm sure if you take those action points, you will never miss it. And so, in conclusion, no man can exist in a vacuum. Success is a result of deliberate steps. Bishop Oyedepo said, nothing works until you walk it. That is so important. And I want to urge you, it is by no means a destination, what we are talking about now. Go and be deliberate. Go and look at this concept more and begin to work more on it. Knowledge on its own is just potential energy. It is when you put it into practice that it becomes kinetic, that it moves you forward, all right? That it begins to do work for you. So this is so important. Now, look at this. Let me close with this, with what Disney quote. What he said. He said, the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. While I was preparing for this, I just stumbled on it, and it just made so much sense to me. Stop talking. Talk is cheap. We are talking about this now. Start today. Just start today and start building your. Just be deliberate. There will be some people you have not spoken to in a long time. Just reach out. I just want to check on you to know how things are. Some people, when they call you, it's when they need money. It's very bad. And that's why they never get anything. Learn to build this relationship. So start now. Start now. All right? So that's my time. Thank you. I hope that I've been able to at least impact someone with something to work with going forward. Thank you very much, and thank you for the privilege. Okay, so Mike, you have the floor.
All right, thank you. Could you please put your hands together for him? At least a digital clap will be appreciated to our speaker today. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. Yes, thank you very much. All right. I'll check the chat box now just to see if there are any questions, or if you prefer to. I can't seem to see anyone written. Oh, yeah, but if you have any questions, maybe we can use the. Okay, a number of hands are up. So
Yeah.
a number of hands. I think a lot of hands are up.
Yes.
I think you have 3 hands up. Let's start with the first one. Collins Obilo. Could you unmute your mic? I see your hand is up. Could you unmute and ask your question, please, quickly? Hello, Collins.
Yeah,
Can
good
you
evening,
unmute?
everyone.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, actually, I just want to appreciate you for
Thank you.
this wonderful, like presentation which you gave this night. I think it was a wonderful one. I've learned a lot from it. If I tell you, there are times I would not go through my contacts because most times I look at it as if I don't actually need help from those contacts because I kind of think that if I can't get monetary value from those contacts in my phone, well, why will I be calling them? But from what you have spoken this night, I kind of rethink and I kind of have a mindset that it's not all about money. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Collins. Thank you for the compliments. You can put down your hand now, and you can okay, mute yourself. Okay, Dr. Sabi, please, your hand is up. You have any questions, sir?
Not at all, just to appreciate. I'm so glad and well blessed.
All right, thank you very much, Dr.
But
Sabi. Thank you very much, sir. Much appreciated your comments. Another hand is up. Daniel Nwachi, do you have any questions, please?
Okay, sir. Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. Hello.
Oh,
Hope you can hear me.
not clearly, please. We can't hear you clearly. Can you speak up, please?
Okay. I just want to thank our facilitator, the person that took us this evening. I really learned a lot from what he taught us this evening. I used to be an introvert. I don't like associating myself with people. I just like to stay on my own. You know, I just want to like do my thing. I don't want anybody to just say, okay, this is what something like that. So I just needed my own space and all that. But this little presentation have really taught me a lot of things, and then reaching out to people, trying to know how they are doing, trying to know what is going on in their lives. It's also part of being social equally. I actually want to thank the facilitator, the person that actually took us this evening. Thank you so much, sir. I really learned a lot, and I'm gonna make a commitment to put everything into practice from today. Okay, and also thank you, sir, Daddy Mike. Thank you so much, sir.
thank you. Thank you very much.
All
Thank you.
right. Thank you very much. We take the last question now. The last hand, Chisom Ebe. There's one more. Chisom Ebe, your hand is up. You can unmute your mic and ask your question or make your remarks. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. Dr. Tony, thank you so much for this presentation. So I have a question. You
Okay.
talked about people that are introverted, like people that character-wise, they're not people that are out there. So now, in a situation where people already know that you're not someone that like to be out there, like you're not someone that like to get involved, and you're not someone that is ready to listen. Like it's already known that okay, this is how this person is. Is there a way that you can suggest that people can start like how to rebuild relationships, like from to rebuild the relationship with people that you already know that like they already know you as someone that doesn't really like to listen, that is not really interested in things that like social things already, like someone that is always in their shell. So what advice can you give to the person that from the start they can know that okay, this is how to rebuild relationship and this is how you can start again? Thank you.
All right, Chisom. Now, listen, what I always tell people is first and foremost, you need to know yourself. All right? Good understanding of yourself will help you in dealing with relationships. I'll give you an instance with myself. When I got into banking, I had my own reservations about things. I had my own ideologies. I didn't really like too much associations. I didn't like the crowd. I didn't like people invading my privacy and so on and so forth. All right. So I struggled with this thing of marketing and the rest. In fact, at a point, I wanted to quit. But then I had to study myself. What is really the problem? Gradually I discovered that it's not because I don't like people, but I discovered that I had some issues with my self-worth that was affecting me. It was hindering me from actually taking that leap. So I had to start building my self-worth. That helped me. All right? Now, I'm just talking about you knowing yourself. Now, if you have relationships that have gone sour, you will need to build them. They have a perception of you. Perceptions change with time. It is not a sudden thing. So you need to show that commitment to relationship, reach out to them, and maintain it. Over a period of time, perception will change. That's how it works. People form perceptions over time. They change it over time too as a result of the stimulus that is going into them. So if you change the stimulus you are sending, you will get different reaction. The law of Newton, the law of motion, Newton's law of motion, is that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So you need to change the action to get a new reaction. So if you do that over a period of time, they will come to see that it is not pretense, that it is real, and then you start getting positive feedbacks from them. That is how to deal with that situation. One of those suggestions, all right? I don't know if that helped you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, sir. I really
All right.
appreciate it.
Thank you. So we have one last question by Chinwe.
Yes.
Sorry,
one on the
Chisom.
also.
Okay. Thank you, Chisom, for your question. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. The last question we have on the call tonight from Chinwe Davis. Sir, how do you handle persons that when you try to relate with them, they misinterpret you and push you away? From Chinwe Davis.
Yes. Okay. Now the question is, why is that happening? Where did the misinterpretation start from? Maybe it's the approach. And let me say this really. You cannot actually be friends with everybody. Let's call a spade a spade. You can't actually have cordiality, as it were, with everybody in this world. There must always be people that will not fit into your social, your maybe let's call it belief system. Maybe that is a little bit limiting, but then you may not ever flow with them, as it were, for one reason or the other. For instance, there are people that have told me they will never bank with me. We have tried everything. But sometimes those people are still my friends. They will not bank. We will just have relationship. All right. So you find people that can be hostile. You might want to look at the relationship. Why are they? I had a customer. I remember the first time I started going there. It was a difficult thing. Everything I did, like, it irritated the guy. The guy just. So I had to start asking questions. I started talking to people around them, that this person, what was he like? How do you think is the best way? I made friend with he happened to be a top ranking person. I made friend with his aides. Became close to his aides, and I was asking them, what do you think? That this. They started giving me tips. Those tips were so helpful. I started applying those tips. I discovered that, he's not somebody that wants you to just come and sit down and be telling him, so how are you, sir? Or this. Just have something that you are bringing to him. If you are coming, go straight to the point and leave. Over time, we built relationship. And today he calls me, that hostility has gone. You see, and don't ever try, if you are meeting someone that is hostile, don't try to change hostility to acceptance. No. Hostility should be changed to sympathy. What you are looking for is to find goodwill. All right? So you have to look for that approach. Look for the approach you are taking. If they are rebuffing you, it may be that they perceive you as somebody that is just coming to ask them for something. So maybe you need to come and present value. Think about what value can I give to this person. You know, this has worked for me in many cases. I've had people that were so hostile and somehow was able to break that barrier and we became close. You know, so we need to change that approach. We need to consider the approach we are using and see if we can change it. You have to ask yourself, am I really offering value? Do they see me as somebody offering value, or they see me as somebody just trying to come and irritate them, take something from them, and so on and so forth? You know, consider that first. And like I said, understand yourself. Look at yourself, understand yourself, so that you will know if it is. Now, let me tell you something about relationships also. If you have you can send the wrong vibes by the kind of, by your mindset. You can send the wrong vibes. If sorry, if you have a strong sense of inferiority complex, for instance, it can be sensed. You may be talking like you are bold, but it's an aura. It will just go. It will affect you. You'll find out that a lot of people will get turned off by it. You just find out that you can't just cope because some things will come that will expose you. So what I always tell people, go build, work on yourself, work on your knowledge base, build your self-confidence so that when you are talking with people, it's easy for them to believe in you. It's easy for them to want you. They say, no, I want to hear that guy. I want to hear that guy. I have that reaction a lot from people. No, let him talk. So I have people that call me and say, come, I want you. In fact, somebody yesterday was asking me the same question, that please, I just want to know what you think about this dollar issue in Nigeria. Get me to analyze it. He's a top guy in one of the oil companies. We started talking about it, and he was listening. And as I told him of various, talked to him about various, and I was bringing some data, the guy was happy. He said, this thing is just going with, what you are saying is making a lot of sense because he also is well read. Right? But imagine if I go there and I just, every time he sees me, he'll just be angry. So these are the things. Are you adding value? You have enough to offer that person. Why is that person that way? So if you ask yourself those questions, you can answer them. And then you look at your approach. I'm sure it will help that relationship. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, just two quick things before we go.
Okay.
If you want to receive the slides, can you please put your hands together for him digitally? Okay, please. Can you appreciate our speaker one more time, Mr. Tony Iswell, please? If you could put your hands together to appreciate him, please. We would appreciate this. Just if you want to receive the materials, the slides, please, if you check the chat box, kindly click the link on the chat box for the WhatsApp group. Okay, we're going to share these materials there. Okay, shortly, in the next couple of days, so you can get the materials over there. Please, if you want to receive the materials, just join the Aspire for Excellence Foundation WhatsApp group. You will see it. And just as we conclude, because we have 3 more minutes, next month, September, 3rd Saturday of the month, we have another distinguished speaker. He will be talking about a great topic titled Leadership, the Pedestal to Greatness. That will be taken by Engineer Amos Ologunleku. Okay, he has also authored a book titled Leadership Got Born. Okay, so I will plead with you, and I would maybe, let's say, inspire you, I would say, to come 3rd Saturday next month to attend, to hear about the pedestal of greatness leadership. Someone just raised, we have 3 more minutes. Someone just raised their hand up. Salome Douglas. Maybe we will take you finally before I draw the curtain and thank everybody. Salome Douglas, your hand is up. Okay. Maybe you wanted to appreciate Mr. Tony Iswell. Am I correct?
Somebody's asking me how I've been able to maintain my old friends from the beginning, bearing in mind their locations and different religious beliefs.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Maybe 1 minute for that. I see an extra hand from Julius. Okay, 1 minute, and at 9 sharp, we would have to stop.
Yes, very key. Okay, well, I think it's just being intentional, really, because we have all tried to, the friendship started even before the phones started, before phones came, and somehow we just had this thing of, you try to go visit from time to time, and so on and so forth. I think it's just being intentional. You see, the truth is that friendship cuts across religion and ethnicity and so on and so forth. It is just being able to see that we share ideologies. I have Muslims that I call my brothers and sisters. Some of them, we are close. We are so close. We talk about a lot of things. We don't let the issue of religion get in the way. And even amongst Christians, we have different denominations. You agree with me? So, we might have Catholics, and then you have others. You have Protestants. You have different forms of different Christian groups. And I always tell them, one of my closest friends today is a Catholic. I'm not a Catholic, but he's a Catholic. And we major on the things that unite us. That's how friendships grow. We actually major on the things that unite us, not the one that divides us. And the fact that we all agree that there's one God and so on and so forth has allowed us to bond. So I can tell you the way I kept them is being intentional. I took it upon myself, and they also did that. There are those that did not bother, and over time they started. I just told myself that I need to make sure that we keep this friendship going. And I can tell you that. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. It's 9 sharp. We will have to draw the curtain here. But just before you go, I want to thank everyone. Okay. Beginning from Adeyemi and Iboko, thank you. Engineer Amos Ologunleko, thank you. Babatunde Oludeomi, thank you. Belema, thank you. Betty Chidima, thank you. Blessing Chinere, thank you. Catherine Amos, thank you. Chibuzo Clara, thank you. Chinwe Davis, thank you. Chisomepe, thank you. Chuks Egu, wow, long time, thank you. Chukwemeka Ogide, thank you. Chukuma Oji, thank you. Colin Sudano, thank you. Dandy Sinwami, thank you. Daniel Abia, thank you. Daniel Wachi, thank you. Ejike Onya, thank you. Emmanuel Sule, thank you. Geoffrey Ndubise, wow, thank you. George Chinedu, thank you. Godson Berimako, thank you. Ifoma Ihemadu, thank you. Ifunanya Okoro, thank you. God's Will, thank you. Kenneth Digital, thank you. Nosakare Idubaye, good evening, sir, and welcome, thank you. Ogedebe Julius, thank you. Olanrewaju Olaiton, thank you. Onyinye Ilondo, thank you very much. Oyetunde Ojeniro Pastor, thank you, sir. Peter Annie, thank you. Priscilla Ebe, wow, thank you. Queen Laura, a big thanks to you. Rose Uja, thank you. Rosalie Niwebo, thank you. Dr. Sabio Nibo, thank you. Salome Douglas, thank you. Samadi Electrical, thank you. Our speaker, Tony Israeli, thank you. And finally, Victoria Chuku, thank you. Do have a good night. Have a wonderful weekend. I will share the materials on the Aspire for Excellence Foundation WhatsApp group. Have a good weekend. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, goodbye.